of Finance, Budget and National Planning, ÇNRH1NG, has admitted that Nigeria's economy is facing a difficult time, saying states must improve their internally generated revenues. Speaking in an interview on the Nigerian Television Authority's show, Good Morning Nigeria, she stated that the money shared at the March Federation Accounts Allocation Committee was short of 50 billion naira. The minister was speaking on the controversy over a claim by the Edo State Governor, Govt that the Central Bank of Nigeria printed 60 billion naira in March to augment the money shared at March FFAC. But the minister and the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor, Godwin Emefiele, last week dismissed Obaseki's claim. The finance minister stated that the country's economy was stabilizing from the recession which the country exited a few months ago. She, however, added these are very difficult, challenging times because revenues are low and the demand for expenditures are very high, understandably because we have to keep intervening to make sure the pandemic is contained as well as the economic impact it has caused. In our case in Nigeria, the crash of the crude oil prices really hit us very hard in terms of revenue. We have very low revenues. We have very high expenditures. What we have done so far is just to provide some stability to make sure salaries are paid, pensions are received every month, that we send funds to the judiciary and the legislature, that we meet our debt service obligations. That is what we are doing. It also means we have had to borrow more than we had planned before the COVID-19 started because we need to still continue to invest in infrastructure using our national budget. We borrow to invest in key projects such as roads, rail, airports, seaports, and several other investments that are required in health and in education, and upgrading the social standard and quality of life of our people. And Nigeria is not unique, as several countries of the world went into recession. Almost every other country has had to borrow more than it's planned. It means we expanded our deficit very fast in 2020. 2021 is a year that we see as the year of recovery. According to him, the government hopes to achieve a growth of 3% in 2021, adding that some of the multilateral institutions are putting it at 2.5%. It is very difficult time. I can explain to you how difficult it is. Not just for the federal government, but also for the state. We are increasing reductions in our FAC revenues. FAC revenues are the revenues that we put together every month that are collected from both oil and non-oil sectors, from the collection of the NNPC, the FIRS, and all other revenues collection agencies. So FAC reduces, and whenever FAC reduces, it is a very difficult situation. And in the past 1 year, we have tried to fall back on some specific accounts that are meant to be saved. Savings that when you have such a situation, you fall back on the resources and augments. So we take funds based on Mr. President's approval, either from excess crude oil stabilization accounts, or in some cases, President approved for us to take funds from LNG, liquefied natural gas dividends. In the month of March, we had a shortfall of FAC that was about 50 billion naira. We didn't have enough accrued in any of those accounts other than some 8.5 billion naira that we took from the exchange rate differential account. So we added that we ended up with the FAC of 605 billion naira. An average FAC that is healthy for us is 650 billion naira. So it means we had a shortfall of about 50 billion naira. The state, to be honest, wanted us to go and borrow from the central bank to augment FAC. She further said advice by states was rejected. Okay, she further said that advice by states was rejected, adding that the 3 levels of government were asked to manage that was available. So it is very surprising when we had a sitting governor saying that the CBN had printed money for FAC. That was very unfortunate because it was not true. The FAC information is public, so you can see the revenue contributed by each of the agency. That is what we shared. The state would have wanted us to borrow and augment, but we didn't do that. And we would make sure we don't have to do that, because it's time for all of us to go back and do more. A lot of states are trying to do that in terms of increasing the performance of their internally generated revenues, but it is difficult to do that at a time when growth is very, very low. Going forward, what we have been doing in the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning is a plan is that we have put in place to grow revenues. Our revenues have been growing, but because the expenditures have been growing at a pace that is much faster than the revenue growth, the impact is not felt. As I was just going through this, and I was just boiling in my mind that what are these people talking about? What are you talking about? There's one statement the minister made. She said the spending is more than what is coming in. The revenue you are getting is not up to what you are spending. And what will happen? They are not directing the state governors to go and do their own work. Before you know it, they will start tasking. They will start to increase this, increase that. Who are the people spending the money? The money being generated is being funded. It's being used to fund your lifestyles, all of you, because we know what you guys are collecting. We are spending the money they are borrowing is for them to pay salaries, and it's not even the salaries of all these civil servants or those who are in level how many whatever, or even the civil servants generally. But the politicians are the ones receiving the chunk of the money, whether we get revenue, or we receive them, or we borrow. All the money are going to fund their lifestyle. The government, the governor, the president just came back. Do you know how much they have spent on that trip alone to the UK? Do you know how much they have burnt for that trip alone? And many of them like that. Do you know how much we are paying for ex-governors, ex-presidents, ex-this deputy governors like that? Do you know how much we are paying every month to those people who are not doing anything, to those who have even contributed to the failure of this country? We are still paying them heavily. Oh my God. And now, before you know it, in a nutshell, whether she's trying to blame Obaseki or not, it is neither here nor there. But because the CBN governor has already agreed, he has already accepted that it was printed, but he said it is loan. And this woman is telling us cock and bull stories. Now you are coming to tell us that things are worse. They would definitely have excuse to give, because they are always clamoring or talking about recession, pandemic, crude oil, this and that. We knew all of this. What did you put in place? Go and check all those countries that they are trying to refer to, because they will not be pointing fingers. After all, it happened there. Do you know, even as it happened, do you know how much they were able to give their citizens? Not this you select some amajiris, or you select your party loyalists. You select few of them, you give them something, then automatically you have settled all Nigerians. Go and ask all those countries that you are talking about that they went into recession to, what they gave to their members or their citizens. They attended to everybody. They attended to everybody, in as much you are a genuine resident and a citizen of those countries. They augmented for them. But what do we have in Nigeria? It is only you people. You cannot tell us that you went into the recession, because Nigerians have been down. All the money you are getting, all the money you are generating, it is for you politicians and political office holders. That is where our monies are going into, not everyday Nigerian. You don't even have data, our data, not to talk of how you want to augment for us, or to cushion the effects. At the end of the day, what they are going to be looking for is for them to again be taxing Nigerians again. That is why they are saying go back and generate more fund, your internally generated revenue. Go and work more on it. They are not all ashamed. They tell you, let there be restructuring, so that every state will have a upper hand. They will have control of their resources, and they will be paying you back. No, you will not do that. All of them, because of that, they are so lazy. They are always coming to get a monthly allowances to share. What do they contribute? Because if really what they are generating is enough, I'm sure they will not be going to to Abuja, to the center, to go and be collecting money. You are telling them to go back and increase or to work on their internally generated revenue. Who are the people that will suffer it? They say everyday Nigeria that is still suffering on the streets, that is still crying. Other countries went into recession. They helped their citizens. Did they help us here? No, nobody helps anybody. We don't even have data. They don't want to go through that. Now they are shouting of NIN. Tomorrow again, they will bring another thing again. They will start to suffer a lot of people again. With this NIN, they are still making money on it. All of these people, something is really wrong. Honestly, it's really wrong with them.